What's up, brothers? Hope everyone's doing well out there. So these last couple of months I've been making a lot of videos about life and the world in general. But tonight I could use a change of pace. And since it's the weekend, I figured I'd come out here and give you guys a little bit of dating advice. Now what I want to talk about in tonight's video is the one social skill that actually works when trying to attract someone. And really this holds true whether you're a man or a woman. It goes both ways. And it's not just a social skill, it's a personality trait. And what I'm talking about is being a forward thinker. Okay. And the most unattractive trait that somebody can have is being a past thinker, always thinking about the past. Now here's what I mean by this. Now, you know when you hear the terms alpha male and beta male? I know these are cringe terms. You know, we all think that they're cringe terms. But, you know, there's some truth to them, right? And an alpha male in every sense of the word, whether you're talking about the cool, manly guy that gets the women, the leader amongst men, the man that leads his relationships, he has to be a forward thinker. First and foremost, that's the personality trait, that's the social skill that he has to have. And the beta male, the weak man, is a past thinker. He's always thinking about the past, right? He's always thinking about when somebody broke up with him or somebody hurt his feelings, or, you know, that time when he got embarrassed when he was younger. These things just sit in his mind all the time and haunt him, lowering his self-esteem and his confidence. While the alpha male just thinks about what's going on next, thinking about his next step. He's forward thinking. Now, let's put this to the test in the real world in a basic situation. Right? A man that's a forward thinker, when he sees a woman that he's attracted to, he knows exactly what he wants to say to her. He knows exactly what he wants to accomplish when talking to her. He knows exactly where he wants to take her on a date. He knows exactly what his future plans may be for her. So by the time he approaches her, he's already thought of the next 3 or 4 steps. And this isn't some, cookie cutter script that you read. No, he's thought of this in his own head. He knows exactly what he wants to accomplish, and he does it. It's kind of like if you looked out your window and you saw a stranger standing on your lawn. You wouldn't hesitate to walk outside and say, "Excuse me, sir, is there some reason why you're standing on my lawn?" And he would say, "Oh, I'm fucked up and I don't know where I'm at." And he'd say, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to beat it." "I don't. Get the fuck out of here." You don't hesitate at all, right? You know exactly what you want to say. You know exactly what you want to accomplish. You know exactly how to word it the right way. Well, that's the same exact personality trait, the same exact social skill that you need to have with women. Same thing. You're at the gym and there's a pretty woman. It's not a dude standing on your lawn, but you know what you want to say to her. You know what you want to accomplish here. And you know what maybe your future plans are, right? That's the trait that you have to have. So when a guy that has this trait walks up to a woman, and he walks up to her and he says, maybe he introduces himself, and then he says, "What are you training today?" She says, "I'm training legs." He says, "Oh, really? You got time to let me show you a workout?" She's like, "No, I'm kind of busy, actually. Maybe another time." And he says, "But you're here right now. What if I never see you again? It'd only take a minute." And she says, "Okay." And they do a set together. And now he's gained her trust. Now she kind of likes him. She kind of enjoys the encounter. And magically, the two of them end up driving home in the same car and making out with each other in the car. And they end up getting together the next Saturday night. Right? But he knew what he wanted to accomplish the whole way. And he understood it's probably not going to go as smooth as I would like it to go. But I'm going to stay 3 or 4 steps ahead. I want to introduce myself. I want to find out what she's training today. I want to see if I can train with her. I want to see if I can give her my phone number. And I would like to leave here with her, if she's open to that. Never trying to get someone to do something against their own will. Never that. It takes the charm away. Instead, it's trying to influence the other person's will. Influence the decisions they're making. To get them to willingly change their mind. Right, to give you another example, you ever walked into a mall? Of course you have. You know when you walk into the mall and 20 feet ahead of you, there's a cute 23-year-old woman standing there, right? Here in the States, it's usually a foreign woman. You all know what I'm talking about. She's usually either French, Italian, Colombian, or Venezuelan. I'm not sure why it's one of those 4 countries, but it always is. Anyways, she's about 20 feet ahead of you, and she's standing there, and she locks eyes with you. And as soon as you get about 3 or 4 feet away from you, she says, "Hello, sir, would you like to try some cologne?" You're like, "It's a free sample, I guess I'll take it." And she says, "You should come inside and let me show you around." And you say, "You know what, I'm kind of busy, I've got to keep walking. And maybe I'll come back another time." And she says, "But you're here right now, what if I never see you again?" And she's hot, cute little accent going on. Real stylish chick. A lot of guys will cave, they'll give in, and they'll go in and they'll spend their money. But the skill that she uses is she acknowledges, first she greets you, makes you feel good, makes you feel like a man, and she acknowledges the present and leaves a mysterious thought in your mind about the future. So she says, "But you're here right now. True. What if I never see you again?" Oh, good point. Right? So now suddenly, even though it's some random chick trying to sell you cologne, she's piqued your interest, piqued your curiosity. You're a bit turned on. You think she's fucking hot now. If you're a player kind of guy, you might just go in and try to get her number. Speaking of player type of guy, this is the personality trait that every player, every ladies' man, every dog kind of guy has had. He's always had this personality trait. And it'll frustrate you if you don't have it. If you're somebody that isn't naturally inclined to pull this off, like it's just not in your DNA to be this way, and you see a guy and it is in his DNA to be this way, quite frustrating, because, you'll be one of those guys thinking about the past, something like that, and you've got a girl you like, you're moving slow, and you're trying to make things work, and you think, well, she likes me, I like her, I think this is destiny. This other dude, how he is. It's in him to be a player. You can try to shame him, you can try to cock block him, you can try whatever you want, but you can never change the way he is. He's still going to do it. He's going to walk up to her. He's going to run that little scheme on her. And it's not a script. It's forward thinking. He knows exactly what he wants to say. He knows exactly what he wants to accomplish, knows exactly where he wants to take her, what he wants to, for the two of them to do together. And he has a process towards accomplishing that. Just like when he sees somebody standing in his front lawn. Just like waking up and brushing your teeth or tying your shoes. It is a process, and it is in his DNA to do it. And it'll piss you off. If it's not in you to be like this and you see other guys doing it, man, you'll become the biggest hater. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it's not really in me to be like I'll be like I'll shoot my shot. If it ain't hitting from the very beginning, normally I'll just step away. I don't really care. I'll move on. I'm a forward thinker, but in terms of, I'll just replace her with somebody else. Some guys are forward thinking with that one person. And it's like they're persistent with that one person. I knew a guy this one time. I don't know why this always pops in my head. He was always doing that shit. I remember one time we were at a party. We were like 18 years old. I have no damn clue why he had a pair of women's Air Jordans with him. He just had them with him. He had a backpack where he had like a bottle in there and like some, we were partying and shit, right? Had a pair of female Air Jordans. What the fuck? Like, how did they even get there? I don't know. But there was a really hot girl there. He had no business hooking up with this girl. Like, she was. You look at the two of them, you wouldn't think like there's no way, right? He introduces himself, and he tells her he wants to see what she looks like in these shoes. He asks her if she'll try these shoes on. She was literally like not interested, and he was like, "Oh, come on, I want to see what they look like on you, whatever." Next thing you know, she's taking her shoes off, and he grabs her feet like he's like doing this thing like a shoe salesman or something. They like gently, like if you're in like Italy trying on shoes, they like grab your feet and they're like real delicate and whatever. Puts the shoes on her. And the two of them are inseparable for the rest of the night. I mean, he didn't give her the shoes, like he took them back. I don't know what the shoes, I have no clue what he did with those shoes, but they were inseparable. Making out 10 minutes later, two of them had a very, very nice sexual relationship for quite a while. I bet you he could call her today. She probably still thinks about him. Like they hit it off and they had such a good time. And it's just because he was forward thinking. He was thinking forward. He saw her and he was like, I am going to try to get this girl, like I'm going to try to get her to take her shoes off and put these shoes on her. I want to make out with her. I want to do it like, and the fucker just step by step did it. Right? It was just second nature for him to do it. And some guys are just like that. They're just players. They just have it in them to be that way. But here's the thing. It's not just players. That's why I used the term alpha earlier. It's any guy that is, a man that leads the way. Right? It's a parent. You can't be a good parent if you're thinking about the past. And some people are like that. Some parents they look at their kid and they're like, oh, you used to be so small. You grew too fast. Cool, whatever. That's not the right way to look at it. The way to look at it is the future of the kid. We got to get you prepared for where you're going to be in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. It's, all right, you're growing. We better feed you some more. Have you hit the books, lift some weights. We're going to develop you properly. Turn you into a strong adult. All right, same thing with bills and finances. Shit hits the fan. You're about to lose your house and your car. You better be thinking forward. You can't be thinking about the past. I lost my fucking job. God, where'd all the money go? What happened? Can't think about that. It's too late. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do 2 weeks from now? You better get it moving. It's forward thinking. And essentially, anytime you see anything to do with pickup artistry or, spitting game or anything of that nature, this is all it is, guys. It's being a forward thinker. Anytime you want to talk to a woman, if you're about to call a woman, you should know exactly what you're going to say before you call. there should be a purpose for doing this. We've all approached women just like, man, she's hot, and everybody's like, go fucking talk to her. So you say, all right, I'm just going to go walk up to her. You walk up to her. You have no idea what to say. Just standing there with your mouth open. Well, if you would have thought about, okay, just take 10 seconds. What do I want to say? Okay, cool. That's what I want to say. What am I trying to accomplish? Okay, cool. Say it, accomplish it. But you got to think ahead. Be a couple steps ahead. Otherwise, you're going to get lapped by that cute girl at the mall. But that same skill that girl is using at the mall, it's the exact same skill that the player's using. Same thing, right? They're both doing the same exact thing. And a lot of people like to make the claim that sales and dating are the same. It's partially true, but sales is not a natural thing. Intersexual dynamics are a natural thing. So all of these strategical methods that you see people using in sales, they're actually pulling it from dating and relationships, not the other way around. Pickup artists are teaching you how to use sales tricks with women, when really you should be using your intersexual dynamic, personal people skills and the work aspect. Right? You should be the other way around. Because the intersexual dynamics are natural. They've been around long before sales. You should just know how to do it. And it's simple when you know what you're doing. And only you can know what you're doing. The rest of the world can't tell you what to do because they don't know what you want. They don't know what you want to say. That's another thing. That's where your failure comes from if you're somebody that struggles to talk to the opposite sex. Because you think you're supposed to say something that like somebody told you to say. But what you're supposed to say is what you want to say. Because you're supposed to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So what is it you want to say and what is it you want to accomplish? Well, now you know how to go about it. What you want might be different than what somebody else wants. That's another important thing that you have to understand, because you can look like a fool using some pickup line or using some line that somebody else teaches you. But, some guys, they see a woman they really like, and it's not about sex. It's not about pickup. It's about, trying to get her to go on a date, get to know her because he wants to marry her. Something like that, right? Well, there she is. What do you want to say to her? Well, you want to introduce yourself. You want to ask her if she's single. That's a really important thing. If you're looking for a long-term relationship, when you first meet a woman, that should be the first. You introduce yourself, and then the first thing after that should be, are you single? Because you want to start it out in an appropriate way. You want to start out the relationship in an appropriate way, not like, I don't care if you have a boyfriend, I'm going to try to steal you away anyways. No, it's, are you single? Respectfully. Okay, cool. Good to know. Now she already knows everything. Right? You don't necessarily have to go too far into details about what you're trying to accomplish. You ask her if she's single. She knows you want to know if she's single. Meaning, you're looking to change that maybe, if she is single. And then, you know what you want to ask. There's a next question that you want to ask. You ask it. Cool, if you're hitting it off, you want to give her your number. Or maybe get her number, whatever you'd prefer. A lot of people are, really concerned with whether you should give your number to her or whether you should ask for her number. I don't care. I don't think it matters. I think you have the freedom to do whatever you'd like to do. Either will work. So whatever it is you would prefer, you do it. It's confidence. It's being sure of yourself. That's the big thing. competence, looking like you've been there before, unafraid, you know. And even if it doesn't work, you can be like me and be a forward thinker. And look for somebody to replace her with. Not too complicated. All right, guys. I think I've hit this one from just about every angle that I possibly could. So I'll leave you with 2 pieces of advice. And number 1, there's a quote. And if you can name the person that I'm quoting, type their name in the comment section. Love your enemies and hate your friends. Your enemies stay the same. Your friends always change. Okay, if you know who I'm quoting, put their name in the comment section. If you don't know who I'm quoting, but you still want to let me know that you watched this video till the end, type "never shake hands with the milkman" in the comment section. Alright guys, hope this video was somewhat informative, and that's about it for tonight. Until next time, see ya.